Hey guys! So I just wanted to take this opportunity to give a primer on super simple hangboarding workouts. Maybe you just mounted a hangboard in your house for the first time, or you're remembering that you've got one hanging somewhere in a garage or in a doorway that you just always walk underneath, but now that climbing gyms are closed and we shouldn't really be traveling for climbing, now is a great time to dig into hangboarding. One of the biggest barriers that I ran into when I wanted to start hangboarding is that when you start looking for the right plan or the perfect plan, there are so many options out there. Instead of getting caught up on the exact hang to rest ratio, what grip I should be using, how often should I be doing it, I ended up just getting so overwhelmed and not doing anything. So my goal is to help you guys follow this super simple plan. You can do it 2 to 3 times a week. Should take no more than 20 minutes, and whatever level you're at, there you're going to see huge improvements in your finger strength just by doing 2 different hangboard exercises. So some people are tentative about hangboarding, either because they've got finger injuries or they've heard that hangboarding is high risk for finger injuries. I want to clear that up right now. Hangboarding, if done appropriately, is actually safer than climbing because you're in such a controlled setting, you're on an edge, you're not jumping, diving between holds, your feet are just a couple inches above the ground, you're not gonna, cut feet and then suddenly your fingers are stuck in a pocket, blowing all of your tendons out. So if you are dealing with finger injuries, I recommend that you start super slow, and I would stick to this protocol, which is actually from Dr. Tyler Nelson of Camp for Human Performance. I'll link to it in the show notes. Hangboarding is a great way to rehab and to prevent the possibility of injuries, especially if you're a newer climber. So when you're about to start a hangboard workout, if you haven't been doing anything, you're just hanging out at home or just got to the gym, you're going to want to make sure that you get a good warm-up. I'm always cold, so I take some time to get my heart rate going. This really doesn't need to take long. It may be like 5 to 10 minutes. I like to do some push-ups, some planks, maybe some jumping jacks just to get the blood moving for kind of like your full body warm-up. Make sure that you warm up your core a little bit because as you're hanging, you want to make sure that you're engaging your core. Once you've kind of done the general body stuff, you want to make sure that you can comfortably get into this position. This is the position you'll be hanging in. So if it hurts to raise your shoulders over your head, you're already kind of starting out in a tough position. So I like to do some overhead reaches, keeping my ribs down, just getting that full range of shoulder mobility. And then, once your shoulders are warmed up, you want to start warming up your fingers. I like to do some pull-ups, short sets of pull-ups. You can cut. So if you have 7-foot ceilings like I do, or you can't do a pull-up, you should also just do some hangs to warm up your fingers. I've got a jug edge mounted here. I've got some smaller edges mounted through our doorway. That's all that fits in this house. So for your warm-up hangs, I like to do all 4 fingers. So this position is half crimp. This position with only 3 fingers is an open-handed grip or a 3-finger grip. You're going to want to warm both of those up. So as I hang, I'm engaging my shoulders. My core is tight. Just doing some short hangs. That was 4 fingers. I'll do some 3 fingers. Maybe some quick pulls. And then you're ready to go. So the first exercise that we're going to do is called recruitment pulls. This is a little bit counterintuitive because you're pulling but you're not actually coming off the ground. The idea is that you're using as much effort as physically possible for a really, really short duration to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible, and then over time that'll build up your muscle density. You're going to be pulling at a 120-degree elbow angle, so it's about this. If you can't reach your board or your edge from the ground, just grab something. I use yoga blocks to stand on to bring you up to that angle. So we're going to do this starting in a half crimp grip. So that's 4 fingers. 4 fingers bent like this. And you're just going to pull for like 3 to 5 seconds, as hard as you possibly can. You want to make sure that you're pulling at low intensity when you first put your hands on the bar or the board. Don't just yard on your fingers because you're at risk of dry firing. So pull lightly and then build up to 110%. Pull as hard as you possibly can for like 4 seconds, and then rest. You don't need a timer. You don't need it to be exact, just as hard as you can. If you are strong enough to do a 1-arm pull, you can hold something in your other hand. I like to hold a kettlebell or a weight. You can hold on to a doorway or an edge, something just to keep you on the ground. The goal here is not to do a 1-arm pull-up, it's just to pull maximum intensity, target these fingers. As soon as you've done your first side, go directly to the other side. And then rest for 1 to 2 minutes. You're going to repeat this 3 times total, and then take like a 5-minute rest before we move into our next exercise. Once you finish your recruitment pulls, 3 sets of your recruitment pulls with all 4 fingers, you can move to an open-handed grip. So I'll use 3 fingers, same idea, just as hard as possible. If you're new to hangboarding, or you're revisiting hangboarding after a long layoff, don't worry about the open-handed grip for the first like 2 or 3 weeks. Just focus on the half crimp grip. Once you've taken your rest after your recruitment pulls, you can move into density hangs. The goal of density hang is for it to be a long duration hang to failure. Choose an edge size and a challenge level that's going to allow you to hang for 20 to 40 seconds before falling off. So I am going to use a 20mm edge, and I am just going to use my back 3 fingers on both hands. If you are new to this, start in the half crimp position. Once you can hang 40 seconds in this half crimp position on a large edge, drop the edge size down. So I'm literally just going to hang nice tight form. Until I can't hang anymore. Don't wait until you're actually going to like dry fire off and fall flat on your back to come off. Put your foot down. No need to get hurt doing this. The goal is to make you strong for climbing. You can't do that if you've got a finger injury. You can do 2 sets of that. And if you are comfortable hangboarding, if you've been doing a lot of this, or have followed this for quite a few weeks, do 2 different grips for the density hangs. You can, my variation would be to do my front 2 fingers. So that's a pretty short hang for me. The biggest takeaway for all of this hangboarding stuff is to start really simple, start really small, make it something that you're going to do on a regular basis. Tendons and muscles love consistency, but if you make it so hard that you either hate it or you're sore forever or you get injured, you're not going to be able to follow through with that. Hangboarding is something that you can incorporate 2 to 3 days a week. If you're newer to this, make sure that you listen to your body. Err on the side of caution. There is nothing wrong with using a massive edge size for all of these workouts. I do that depending on what I'm training to. One last note about timing. If you are climbing regularly, make sure that you're not hangboarding after climbing. And if you're feeling fatigued from a climbing session, don't hangboard. We want to keep the volume of this really low, and we want to make sure that you're really well rested. So don't try to pair those things together.